y'all, it's your boy Beasley here. Hope you all are staying cool, calm, and collected out there. So you guys, I didn't even realize, but this channel has now hit over 500 subscribers, you guys. I am just very thankful and truly blessed for the subscribers and the people that support my videos. Like, I'm just elated and thankful. You know, I created this channel back at the beginning of the pandemic because in my everyday life, don't nobody really give a fuck about what I have to say, y'all. Don't nobody give a fuck about what I have to say. And in order for me to exercise the throat chakra and exercise my opinions and viewpoints, I made this channel, and it's basically just like a soundboard where I just talk whatever's on my mind, speak my mind and speak my truth. And I'm glad that a lot of you guys vibe with it. Some of you don't. Some of y'all let me have it in the comment section. Y'all let me have it. OMG. Oh my God, y'all be hating me. I throw my opinions down, yet you chasing me, basically. I'm just kidding, but I love you guys immensely, and I thank you all, truly thank you all for the support. And in order to celebrate this milestone, I wanted to go ahead and sell out my business like Jada Pinkett. So I'm going to tell you guys a story time about when I almost got expelled from college during my senior year. So let's get to it, shall we? So back in 2010, I graduated high school, and I went on to go to the Prairie View A&M University, the HBCU, and all the lands across the lands. However, back in 2010, it was not what it is today at all. Like, not even by a long shot, y'all. Like, back then, if you said you were going to Prairie View, everybody in the vicinity looked down on you. Like, I'll never forget telling my my family members, like, oh yeah, I'm going to Prairie View, and they would be like, oh, you're going to Prairie View? Oh, okay. And I would tell other people too, and they'd be like, oh my God, really? You're going to Prairie View? PV is so ratchet. It is just so ghetto. Like, just very low vibrational. Like, why are you going to Prairie View? That's what I would always get, you guys. Like, people talk down on Prairie View. They made it seem like it was like the worst place to be. I mean, yeah, during that time in 2010, they kind of let almost everybody in. They didn't care what your GPA was. Like, if you applied, you got in because, you know, back then HBCUs desperately needed the funding. And I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, throughout 2010 through 2014, I think that I went to Prairie View during like the last ratchet years of that school. Like, yeah, we were on World Star Hip Hop a lot throughout my time there. I got shot at a party before. And on top of that, I almost got into it with my roommates multiple times. Like, it was a mess. It was a hot mess. But it was good. It was a good mess. Like, it was, like, I could look back on it and just laugh at my time there. Like, even though most of the time I was like a social outcast, I will say that I have no bad blood towards Prairie View, and I truly am proud to say that I went to that school, because today Prairie View did a complete 180. Like, Prairie View is the place to be. Now, before I get into the nitty-gritty of this story, I will say the theme of this whole entire story is going to be stop trying to fit in. Now, in high school, I did not fit in anywhere at all, and I did not want to carry that bullshit and depression on to college, even though it ended up happening anyways. But the difference between me from high school and me from college, I genuinely did make an effort to fit in. I was a part of AMA, which was American Marketing Association. Before school even started, I was about to be an engineer, but engineering was not my passion at all. But I did go to an engineering camp before I started freshman year. And then on top of that, I was good at doing speeches, and there was like a speech club that kind of like dissolved at one point. So it's like the overall theme of me in college was like I tried my best to fit in, and things just never ended up working out. And one thing that never really ended up working out was my time as a cheerleader. Now, this part of the story may sound irrelevant to the overall story, but trust me, it's going to make a lot of sense at the end. I was a cheerleader for my freshman year. I loved it, even though like I was not the best cheerleader. Like, the most that I could do was tumble. Like, I was one of the few guys that could tumble, but I didn't know how to do the motions, and I definitely was not good at tossing a bitch in the air. So I was kind of limited in that aspect, but we were under the same umbrella as our coach, and there was also this one lady called Miss Moore. She was over the Panther Dolls. The Panther Dolls were like, you know, like a J set, you know, for the football team we had the Black Foxes, you know, the girls that do the dance, they dance like Beyonce basically. That's what the Panther Dolls were for the basketball team. And I'll never forget freshman year, there was this one girl that that was in charge of all the girls. She was the head captain dancer for pretty much my entire time at Prairie View. Like, she was like beautiful. She looked just like Evelyn Lozada. I don't know if she was black, but she gave like an Afro-Latina tea. But she was just gorgeous and just vibrant, and she really lit up the dance floor. Like, I enjoyed watching her dance and just call those moves out to the rest of the girls. Like, she was legit the head bitch in charge of that team. But anyways, back to my time at Prairie View. One challenge that I had at Prairie View was getting an internship. Like, getting an internship was like the hardest thing to do. Like, I don't know what it was, but like I have no bad blood towards Prairie View, but ultimately I've kind of felt like college is a scam. And in order for it to make it not feel like a scam, you know, it's like you go to these career fairs and you can't get a job, but you work hard in school, but yet you can't say anything because it's like, oh, well, we have a job fair. Like, why don't you sign up for the job fair? Oh, you didn't get a internship? Oh, well, that's on you. Like, I'll never forget, like, I always kept my GPA in the 3.0 range. And, you know, they actually cared about GPAs back then. I don't think they do at all right now. But I'll never forget this one company, Shell Gas. I'm gonna say it, Shell Gas. You can kiss my ass. Fuck you, your recruiters, and the clique that you claim. They would be like, oh, you have a 3.7? Oh, I'm sorry, but you need a 3.9 or a 4.0 and above, whatever the fuck. Like, you need that in order to get an internship. Actually, to get an interview to get an internship. Like, it was all bullshit, y'all. Like, college was a low-key scam. And then coupled with the fact that one year I had to, like, take a complete summer off because I had jaw surgery. So my mouth was wired shut for, like, 2 out of the 3 months of the summer break. So me getting an internship in college was something that it didn't happen. And it didn't happen. I could blame myself, but it is what it is. Like, I worked my ass off in school, but it is what it is. Now, in order for me to try my best to at least get a job or like get some connections to a job after college, I went ahead and, you know, we had this whole entire organization within our business building. And I'm not going to say the organization's name, but if you guys know me or if you went to Prairie View, you can kind of guess what organization this is. So I mainly got the details from my good friend. We're going to call her Diana. You know, she was already in the organization. She had like crossed over into it the year prior, and she kind of like was basically telling me the information, what I needed to know and how the interview was going to go. And she basically told me, like, during the interview process that they're going to, like, really grill me. They're going to get in that ass. They're going to throw me curveball questions. And they're going to be hard on your boy. So what I did is I pulled out my acting chops and I just played the role of a bitch, an asshole. And I went through the interview and I whatever they gave to me, I gave back tenfold. And real talk though, I didn't know that like I needed to be likable too, but you know, I full on played Kenya Moore in that situation. And then after the interview, Diana came back to me and she was like, Jordan, everybody thought you were a complete fucking asshole. And I was just like, oh, well, mission accomplished. But she said there was something about me that they liked, so I went ahead and got accepted to start the whole entire process. Now you guys, this organization was not Divine Nine at all, but if you guys don't know, if you try to get into a Greek organization, it's a whole entire process. And the process can either be paper, which means you like study on the organization, like you study the reason behind their colors, their mission statement, their crest, all that. You study that organization and you take a bunch of tests on them. Or you can go the other route of the process and basically get your ass beat. So once I got accepted into the organization, me and my line, you know, the line, we were online. Like we were about to go through the whole entire mess. And honestly and truthfully, y'all, I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. Like I was just like, oh, okay, like this is something. But, you know, in order for me, you know, wanting to fit in so bad and get those business connections and getting a job after college, I went ahead and went through with it because, you know, I like to see the forest through the trees, even though the forest was almost on fire. So throughout the span of about 3 months, I went through the whole entire process with my line brothers and line sisters. It was a unisex organization, and I believe it was roughly like 26 of us. I was number 22. I was 22. They ranked us all by height, and for the most part, I genuinely did like my line brothers and line sisters. I mean, Some of them a lot less than others. Some of them I still have a problem with, but for the most part, I got along with just about everybody. Now, I will say, you guys, going throughout the whole entire situation, it was not easy. Like, we would be up all hours of the night, basically getting our ass beat. Like, now the women didn't really get their ass beat. They kind of went through like mental stuff, like getting egg thrown in their hair or like getting a fingernail snatched off or whatever. But the men, they beat our asses, bitch. Like, I got paddled with like a huge paddle. I got punched in the stomach, kneed in the stomach, hit upside the head, hit in the back with a 2x4. Like, I went through all of it. And a lot of people were surprised I was able to have like a high threshold for pain. And I'm just like, that's because I'm a no-limit soldier. That's why. I'm tough. I'm hard. I'm hard. No, I'm just kidding, y'all, but I was able to take a lot of the beatings, basically. But yeah, we went through all that bullshit. You know, the nights where we got our asses beat, they were called sets, you know. And on the very last night before we actually crossed into the organization, we had this set called Hell Night. And that was the night where we were supposed to get like the worst of the beatings. Even though, like, in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't really that bad. It was like a night where like everybody in the organization, past and present, comes basically just to belittle us, you guys. Like, honestly and truthfully, y'all, like, I don't know how other fraternities and sororities like operate today, but back then, looking back on it, that shit was very barbaric. And it's kind of just like, how do you possess yourself to beat the shit out of somebody that didn't do anything to you? And then you see these people in pain, and yet, like, you get off on that, if that makes sense. Like, you get a rise out of like beating somebody's ass. And some people are wired that way. I mean, that's why we have professional fighters and all that. But however, this shit was anything but professional. But, you know, me wanting to fit in and belong, you know, I just went ahead and went along with it. But I'll never forget, after Hell Night, which was the last night, I remember having like intense like regret. Like, I remember feeling like, was all this really worth it? Like, I was just like, you know, I'm not taking back anything that happened because, you know, it's a learning experience and it was on me. Like, I chose to go through it. So, like, I'm not, like, regretful of the whole entire situation. But, like, in that moment, I was just like, I feel like something bad is about to happen from this, and lo and behold, something did. So fast forward all the way to March of 2014, it was time for us to bring in a new line of prospects, you know, to keep the organization going. And we had a new president over the organization, and she wanted to make it clear that this new line that was going to be brought in was going to be strictly paper, which I completely agreed with. Now, y'all, I may be like fast forwarding just a little bit, but another thing that added to my regret were the meetings that we had prior to all of this were just very unorganized. Like, it was just a lot of like infighting within the organization. It's like we kind of walked into some mess, and then our line still had issues with like the other previous lines that brought us in, and it was like an all-out civil war in this organization, basically. Like, it was a hot-ass mess. I'll never forget seeing so many fights pop up in these meetings. Like, it was just like, okay. But this line being brought in was supposed to be strictly paper. However, when all the prospects got on, and you know, from last year, I guess we got the organization kind of popular because everybody, like, somehow word got out that our line like went through a whole entire process, and we were quote unquote the realest line. Basically, we had like the cosign from the whole entire campus because we were the ones that basically like took the ass beatings in stride, basically. And that line that we were bringing in, they wanted to go through the process like we did. And we asked them multiple times, like, are you sure? And they're like, oh yeah, we hard. We want to do this. We're like, we real. We real. And y'all, this was the beginning of the end. So from what I remember, there wasn't like a whole lot of quote unquote sets for these prospects. Like, there wasn't, like, things weren't, they didn't really go through as much as what we went through. And I think it's because it was a lot of infighting with the president against like other members that were trying to do it. Like, the president was completely against it, yet everybody else, like, they wanted to oblige to what that new line wanted to do. They wanted to take them through the process. And it went all the way up to Hell Night. You know, the main president of the organization just went ahead and just said, F it, like, whatever you guys do what you gotta do. And during that, I want to say that Hell Night, this is where things got kind of fishy. Now, before I got to Hell Night, for one, I didn't even know what was going on because nobody notified me about where that Hell Night was going to be, where this whole entire thing was going to take place at. And nobody was answering in my group chat like, hey, like, what are we doing? Like, I was legit just chilling in my bed. Now, mind you, I should have just stayed my ass in my bed because that was literally God protecting me. But, you know, me fighting the universe, like, I have a problem with doing that. Fighting the universe and fighting what God has in store for me. I went ahead and I somehow, like, I messaged one of my line brothers, and luckily, well, unluckily, he was able to answer the phone and give me the coordinates to the location where they were having Hell Night at. So I got there pretty late. It was a completely unorganized mess. It was out in the field somewhere. There was like a house. You know, like Prairie View is in the country, so everybody has like a bunch of land. There were houses that kind of flashed their lights at us like twice, and we had to like run and hide, and then we had to like let things die down and come back and continue the process of trying to beat that lion's ass. Now, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Like, I did put my hands on one individual. Like, all I did was slap him upside the head, but he was like, hey, I ain't with that hitting shit. And I was like, oh, okay. You know, my punk pussy ass, I backed away because honestly, like, I did it just to, you know, fit in. You know, I was stupid. Stupid little kid. Like, that's what I did. And right in that moment, I was like, you know what? I'm not about this life. Let me just sit back and watch. And I forgot to mention that one Panther doll that I talked about in the beginning of this story, she was there because she was actually in the organization herself. Like, she was pretty well known on campus. She was into, like, a lot of things. And she saw that line president of the new line, he was on the ground having an asthma attack. And she was just like, help, help, like, you guys are doing too much. Like, we need to get him to a hospital. We were able to console the guy. Like, he was fine. That line president, like, he was good. Like, he didn't die, basically. But we got him up, and then we went ahead and put it into Hell Night, and then they ended up crossing. So, y'all, a week goes by after them crossing into our organization, and there were some rumblings about us, like, being in trouble, about somebody went to the cops about the whole entire situation that happened at Hell Night, and that we were gonna have to go to PV court. Now, y'all, I didn't even know what PV court was. Like, I was just like, I thought it was all a bunch of bullshit, so I didn't pay any mind whatsoever. So it's a week before graduation. All of the seniors are like getting ready to graduate. We had to like get our cards in order for us to walk across stage. So I went up to go get my card, and the card wasn't there, y'all. The card was declined. And some of my other line brothers and sisters that were graduating with me, their cards were pulled as well. So they were basically holding our cards hostage because we needed to go ahead to PV court and answer about this whole entire situation. And y'all, my stomach dropped. I was just like, oh, fuck. Shit. So that following day, y'all, we went to PV court. And I had never even seen this room before. Like, you know how you unlock a different level in a video game? That's what it felt like. Like, I was just like, what is this place? So we got there, we pleaded our cases, and the funny thing is, the people that did the most of the hazing ended up getting off scot-free. Now, the funny thing about this whole entire court session was the people that were actually doing the hazing and orchestrating it pretty much got off scot-free for the most part, but yet me and a select few others, they were holding on to our degree. Now, step into my shoes for a second. Can you imagine years and years of trying to work towards getting that degree, and then on top of that, I was beyond ready to get up out of PV. Like, I was legit taking 18 hours, having an 8 a.m. class every single day while working 2 jobs. Like, I was hustling hard, and I was ready to get up out of there, you guys. And then I get all the way to the finish line, and then bam, I'm not getting my degree. Now, y'all, I had to go to the dean, who was very disappointed in me. We actually had a great relationship, and she was just looking down on me. Like, she couldn't even look me in the face. And then there was like this other lady that was like over, basically over like, I guess, student affairs or students or whatever. Like, she was basically like the person holding my degree in her hands, and she was basically telling me like, no, like, you're not getting your degree. And after pleading and writing an appeal, like, they were able to let me graduate within the fall. And they let some other people graduate in December, and then some other people had to wait a whole entire year, a whole entire extra year to graduate. Like, legit just sitting at home doing nothing, and then bam. Like, things got so bad to a point where a lot of like the people on my line that were like in their sophomore year, they had to transfer to another school. Like, some of them went to TSU to finish out their degree. Like, it was really, really bad, y'all. But the moral of the story is, stop trying to fit the fuck in. Stop trying to fit in where you don't fit in. if you feel like a social outcast, that's because, not to say you're better than the rest, but you're meant for something else. Like, you're not going to be the status quo. Like, you need to just figure out you and do you, especially to the young youth that are coming up in college. Like, just figure out what you want to be and what you want to do in this world and work towards that. If you don't fit in socially, now granted, I understand everybody wants to fit in socially. Everybody wants to belong to a group. That's a need. Fitting in is a need. Yes, indeed. However, if that need becomes a detriment to you, you got to get out of your own way and do what you got to do for you to succeed in life. But after that whole entire shit show, some time had passed, a few months had passed, and I was able to walk across the stage and get my degree literally right before my, I want to say my 21st birthday, which was a plus. And then on top of that, a few years had passed, and I had lunch with two of my line brothers, and they revealed to me that, you remember that Panther doll, right? The Panther doll, she was actually dating the line president that had that intense asthma attack. And it's alleged, probably not even alleged at this point, but it's alleged that she and him were the two that went to the police and ratted out the entire organization. An organization that she was a part of for the majority of her collegiate career. She went ahead and ratted out every single person, all in the name of love. And come to think of it, like, over the years, I have not seen her face or his face on that campus ever since. Like, I've never seen them at a homecoming. We even had a whole entire tent for our organization at the homecoming. They were not present at all, and I just put two and two together, and I figured, like, wow, she really was the one that kind of snitched on everybody. And in that moment, I learned, be careful who you ever put on a pedestal. But yeah, you guys, that was my story time. I still keep in touch with some of my line brothers and sisters. Like I said, I still got issues with a few of them. But, I mean, will they get better? Who knows? It is what it is. But I once again want to thank you guys for supporting this channel and really supporting me. And I want to let you guys know, like, the main reason, the real reason why I take a while to get videos out to you guys is not only due to technical issues, but it's also because I second guess myself. I second guess myself a lot. Like, every time I'm like sitting down editing a video, I'd be like, oh, you boring ass, stupid ass bitch, ain't nobody gonna watch this shit. And then when you guys do watch this shit, like, it makes me feel good. And then even in public, like, I'm getting people coming up to me telling me, like, oh my god, like, you have a great channel. And I'm just like, really? I have a great channel? Well, thank you, and thank you for the view, and thank you for the support. I truly appreciate you guys, because being a creative is hard, and YouTube is my creative capacity as well as doing makeup, and it takes a lot of energy to really do things for yourself and really invest in yourself and basically creating your own dream life. It's hard. And with that being said, I shouldn't be as harsh as I am on these other creators, even though I'm just giving you guys my real opinions. But I will say that being a creative is very, very tough, and I'm still up for the challenge, and I'm continuing to grow and thrive, and I once again want to thank you guys for being with me along this journey. And well, that was my story time. That was my story time, and I want to leave you guys, anybody who is a creative or trying to be a creative, I want to leave you with some encouraging words from the fallen priestess of rap by the name of Kaya Shimon. But be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'm going to come back at you guys with some more content.
I direct my own videos. I write my own treatments. I shoot my own videos, whether it's with my iPhone or whether I pay a nigga to come in there with a camera. Bitch, I'm dressing myself. I'm pulling the clothes. I'm producing the music. I'm holding the camera. I'm doing everything on my motherfucking own. So it's a difference. I don't have no team. I don't have no management. I don't have all that machine or that imprint, and I'm still running. I'm still swimming. I'm still surviving. My name just as big as any of these other pussy assholes that's out here that got these machines, that got the best producers, that got the best writers. Bitch, I'm writing my own shit and producing it in the bathroom. Bitch, I'm mastering it, mixing it, and it ain't perfect. But it's perfect enough because you motherfuckers is jamming to it and you like it. So don't try me like my shit ain't good enough, fuck nigga and pussy assholes, cause it is. And it's mine. And I own it. And I did it. And you can try to claim it. And you can steal it. And you can be inspired by it. And you can remake it. But it ain't gonna never be the motherfucking queen, bitch.